a single envelope from Social Security can feel like a financial meteor. It arrives in your mailbox. The paper is thin. The logo is official. Your stomach drops. But hidden inside that scary letter are 3 paths that most people never see. And you have exactly 60 days to choose the right one before the government starts taking your money. Let's be clear about what just landed on your kitchen table. The Social Security Administration says they paid you too much. Maybe it was last month. Maybe it was 3 years ago. The notice will tell you the amount, the dates, and the reason. Sometimes the reason is a vague phrase like change in living arrangement or unreported income. Sometimes it's just a number. A big, red, underlined number. That number feels like a verdict. It is not. The first letter is not the final word. It's the opening move. Think of it like a restaurant bill that arrives with a mistake. You don't just sob into your mashed potatoes and hand over your credit card. You point at the line item. You ask questions. You negotiate. This is the same thing, except the restaurant is a federal agency and the mashed potatoes are your retirement benefits. SSA can and does get things wrong. They also can and do fix them, but only if you do something. That something starts with a clock. From the day you get the notice, you have 60 days to respond, plus 5 days for mailing. That's your window. Inside that window, you have power. Outside it, the power shifts. If you ignore the envelope, SSA will eventually start withholding money from your monthly check. They can take up to 10% of your monthly benefit amount, or for SSI, 10% of the federal benefit rate. The collection machine is slow, but it is relentless. It does not forget. It just waits until the 61st day and then it starts feeding. So let's pull out the first path. It glows with the word appeal. An appeal means you tell SSA, I think you're wrong about the overpayment. You don't have to be sure. You don't need a lawyer yet. You just need to file a request for reconsideration. The form is called SSA 561. It's free. You can download it. You can get it at any Social Security office. You fill it out. You state why you disagree. You attach any evidence. Then you send it in. And here's the immediate magic. Filing a timely appeal stops all collection activity. The withholding stops. The nasty letters pause. The machine idles. This is not a negotiation trick. It's the law. While your reconsideration is pending, they generally cannot take a penny. What happens next? An independent claims examiner reviews your case. This person wasn't involved in the original decision. They look at the same facts, maybe with new evidence from you. Often they overturn the overpayment completely. Sometimes they reduce it. Sometimes they say it stands. But even if they say it stands, you can climb the appeal ladder. Next step is a hearing before an administrative law judge, then the appeals council, then federal court. Most people never go that far, but the option exists. The point is the first no is not the last no. The government has doors, you just have to keep knocking. Now the second path, the waiver. This path glows a different color. It's the path for when SSA might be right about the overpayment, but recovering the money would be a disaster for you. The form is SSA 632. A waiver asks the agency to forgive the debt. To do this, you have to prove 2 things. First, you were not at fault in causing the overpayment. Second, paying it back would either defeat the purpose of the Social Security Act or be against equity and good conscience. What does fault mean here? It means you knew or should have known the information SSA used was wrong. Maybe you reported your income, but they didn't update it. That's on them. You're not at fault. Maybe your landlord changed your rent and you told the agency, but they lost the paperwork. Not your fault, but maybe you started a side job and didn't report it for 8 months. That's a problem. You might be at fault. The concept is squishy. It turns on what a reasonable person would do. And you have to show you cooperated with SSA. You gave them accurate info, you cooperated with them, or at least you tried. The second part is about your wallet. You have to show you can't afford to repay and still cover your basic needs. Things like food, shelter, utilities, medical care. If you can show that, then recovering the money defeats the purpose of the program. Or it's against equity and good conscience. That's a legal term meaning this would be wildly unfair. Example, you relied on the overpaid money in good faith, spent it on essential surgery, and now you're broke. Making you pay back that money would be cruel. That's equity. That's good conscience. A waiver is not a gift for the careless. It's a safety valve for the innocent and the desperate. If the waiver is granted, the debt vanishes. Poof, you owe nothing. Collection stops forever. This is a real outcome. It happens all the time. SSA approves tens of thousands of waivers every year. The envelope does not tell you that. It just says you owe money. Third path, the repayment plan. Maybe you agree you were overpaid. Maybe you were at fault. Maybe you just want the headache to end. Fine, you can pay it back. But you don't have to sell your furniture and deliver a duffel bag of cash to the treasury. You can pay in installments. SSA will let you spread payments over months or years. They'll withhold a small amount from your checks. You negotiate the percentage. If that's still too much, you can ask for a lower rate, or you can request a compromise settlement. That's a lump sum for less than the full amount. It's rare, but it exists. And here's a thing rich uncles on the internet get wrong. SSA cannot garnish your wages. They cannot seize your bank account without going through a very specific process that first gives you notice and a hearing. They are not a debt collector with a leather jacket and a baseball bat. Their main tool is offsetting your future benefits. Also, they can take your tax refund. That's annoying, but it's not a home foreclosure. The fear is usually worse than the reality. Now let's zoom out. You're a stickman standing at a crossroads. One path says appeal, one says waiver. One says repayment plan. All three are valid. You can even do them in combination. You can request a waiver at the same time as an appeal, or if you lose, request a waiver as a backup. The system expects this. It's like ordering a burger but keeping the receipt in case the bun is soggy. But people make mistakes. Let's watch the stickman step on a rake. Mistake 1, ignoring the letter, tossing it into a pile of coupons and cardboard. The 60 days tick by. Then one morning, your benefits are smaller. Now you're in the recovery machine with fewer options. Not impossible to fix, but harder. Mistake 2, assuming it's SSA's fault so you're off the hook. SSA errors do not automatically erase the debt. You still have to prove you weren't at fault. The error alone is just an excuse to ask, not a magic shield. Mistake 3, panicking and paying the full amount immediately. You just handed over money you might not have owed. That money is gone and you might not get it back if you later win an appeal. Always pause, breathe, read the letter again. Your panic moves faster than the mail. Use that time. Here's a weird detail. The overpayment notice itself has a quirk. It often includes a tiny paragraph buried near the end about your appeal rights. It's usually in smaller font. It says you have 60 days. It says you can request a waiver. It gives the form numbers. That paragraph is the most important part of the letter, and it's designed like an app's terms and conditions. Most people skip it. Don't be most people. Circle it, highlight it, keep it handy. That tiny paragraph is your escape hatch. So the clock is ticking, the envelope is on the counter. It's scary, but look again. It splits into 3 glowing lanes: appeal, waiver, repayment. Each one requires you to do something. Write a letter, fill a form, call an office. Wait on hold while a robotic voice tells you your call is very important. That's part of the ritual. SSA is a bureaucracy, which means it is slow, human, and full of errors. Your job is to be the polite, persistent person who corrects those errors. One last thing about the waiver. To prove you can't afford to pay, you'll have to list your income, expenses, assets. This feels invasive. It is, but it's the price of the waiver. The form asks if you own a second home, a yacht, a racehorse. If you own a racehorse, maybe you can afford to repay. For the rest of us, it's just rent, electric bill, and a 2007 Toyota. That's fine. Be honest. Don't exaggerate. Don't understate. Just be boringly accurate. Bureaucracies love accurate paper. They eat it like toast. So here's the checklist. Ready? Read the notice. Circle the deadline. Decide appeal, waiver, or repayment, or a combination. Get the forms, fill them out. Attach evidence. Make copies of everything. Send with tracking. Keep a log of every phone call. Write down the date, the rep's name, the confirmation number. Treat this like a part-time job with an annoying boss. The boss is the government. The paycheck is your peace of mind. And now the envelope on your table transforms. It's no longer a meteor. It's just a piece of paper with a process attached. Panic is the real enemy. Panic tells you to hide. Panic tells you there's no hope. Panic is a liar with a megaphone. The truth is smaller and more practical. You have options, you have rights, you have 60 days. Open the envelope. Pick a path, start walking.